It's the start to a brand new week, and it is Fair Week. Good to have you here with us on another edition of Litter Media Live. Welcome to Monday with Mike Smith. I'm Dan Ramey.
We've kind of been building up this crescendo for a few weeks, talking about area county fairs. Well, It hits Ross and Scioto County this week.
It hit the fanfare this week for sure. And coming up here in a bit, we're going to have an official announcement we're going to share with you. So,
is this it for me?
No. You're very much involved in this. So
okay.
We'll share with our audience what that is. It's something good, I think. So stick close for that. All right, but first we want to take a look at what the weather is doing. And I just got a text just a moment ago. I don't know if you got this same text, but there is a tornado watch that's been issued for Ross County and Chillicothe.
I should be getting those, but unless I had my, there it came. Same thing.
I don't see a time period here. So this is just a watch, and as we have explained to you before, watch is conditions are favorable. If it's a warning, that means one has been spotted. So keep that in mind as we go through here. But we have severe storms possible today in the forecast.
Here it is from the National Weather Service. This is the weather map of the probable more severe areas, marginal areas. The watch that Dan just alluded to covers everything pretty much south of I-71 and I-70 both. That would include everything in our coverage area. And that tornado watch is in effect until 6 p.m. today. That just coming out minutes ago. And as we speak, we are putting it out on our Twitter post. So keep watching our Litter Twitter throughout the day, as well as other social media, in case any of these storms turn severe and become warnings.
The irony of all this, and maybe you can, maybe you can't hear this, but we've always talked about tornadoes sometimes sound like a rushing train coming through. A train is going by on Eastern Avenue right now, the track here, and I thought, it's kind of ironic. Mm-hmm. Hopefully that's the closest we have coming to any severe weather today. So, but do keep your eyes out. If you spot something, let us know. Right. If you see something, shoot video of it, I guess.
Absolutely. Well,
but get from a safe place.
Yeah, don't do like I was out on the front porch with a video camera one time, and my wife is yelling from the basement, "Get your butt down here!"
But honey, we're making news.
Yeah, she's told that story a few times in public, so I'm not revealing anything that she hasn't already. Hey, stupid, get down here.
She's the one with the common sense in the family. Surprise, surprise. Yeah. All right, coming up, we'll take a look at what's making news for us today across the Scioto Valley. No surprise here. It's the Ross County Fair, which has started off. We'll get you caught up to date there and more coming up in just a bit. Scioto Valley Dumpsters, 740-253-8389. You might see a dumpster of theirs out at the fair. Mm-hmm. That's where I bumped into one. Well, I didn't physically bump into it. I happened to see it out at the fair when I was flying the drone last year. So if you are in need of a dumpster, Scioto Valley Dumpsters can fix you up. 740-253-8389 is the number to call. Tell Carl, Dan, and Mike sent you. News next.
Now that's one fast mower.
Take command of your lawn with Dixie Chopper, the world's fastest lawnmower.
This is Andy Tomlinson. When ensuring what's important to you, our agents are there when you need us the most. Tomlinson Insurance, for the best coverage at the best cost. Visit us online at tomlinsonins.com to learn more.
For transportation options in Ross County, call Ross County Health District's Mobility Management Team, 740-779-9652. So what's making news for us today? Well, it's the Ross County Fair.
Yeah, last night was a big night. Royalty was crowned, and here's the whole cast of characters that were in the top 4 attendance. You might remember last year, and we're going to hear about this, I think, in a little bit. Mm-hmm. There were no guys that were candidates for king. Well, we had 4.
Last year would have been a good year to be king. but there were no king candidates.
No king candidates. Yeah. But Ellie Ratliff of Seed Planters 4-H Club is the queen, and the king, of course, standing to her right. Well, no, her left, our right. That is the king for this year, and he is Ryan Andrews.
And had a chance to catch up with both of them.
Honestly, it's such a dream, and I'm so excited to take after Meredith Robinson. She did such a great year last year, and I'm really excited to be able to fill her shoes. I don't think anyone can really fill her shoes, but I'm excited to bring more youth out to the Ross County Fair, and I'm excited to get our enrollment numbers up.
What made you want to come out and participate this year?
Well, you know, Charlie and Wyatt, they're both in my 4-H club too. And the contest was coming up, and I'm like, guys, you got to sign up for this because I've wanted to do it for years. And I knew with just me competing that I wouldn't be able to do it because I needed other people, right? So I got them to sign up, and we all just kind of went in for it together.
Well, what's it mean to be able to go to different events and represent your county?
Absolutely. So I am very proud to represent Ross County. It's a great county to be a part of, and it's a great fair. And I think that when we go to other counties as a royalty staff or a royalty court, then we can bring back so many new ideas for our Ross County Fair and continue making it the great Ross County Fair.
Do you think you had a chance to win?
I thought we were all pretty evenly matched, if I'm going to be honest. I had no clue what was going to happen.
This is my last year.
And what's plans after high school now?
So I'm attending Ohio University to major in nursing, followed by a master's degree to become a nurse practitioner.
Last year I did automotive technology, so I work on cars and stuff like that. But this year I switched to outdoor power so I can work on more side-by-sides, tractors, ATVs, stuff like that.
Our sponsors, they're kind of flexing their muscles today. Pickaway Ross, Career Technology Center, the top two, the king and the queen, that's where they went to school.
Yeah.
So they are pretty happy about that today.
So congratulations to all of the kids. They will be presiding over the fair. They'll be the ones that you see in all the pictures of all the market lambs and steer and all that kind of stuff. All those pictures handing out ribbons too.
By the way, the rest of the court, you can find all of those names in our story at littermedia.com. Now, these kids here are the 2023 4-H'ers of the year. That's Ella Hartmus on the far left, Graceland Blaney, who you interviewed, and Litter Media got a shout-out for that interview last night.
Very cool.
So congratulations. Also, Cameron Nemofsky and Ava Palmer, they are the 4-H'ers of the year.
I remember Nemofsky being here with us on one of the daily programs we had last year, and good to see that. So half those kids have been on the on the show with us.
In fact, before the event got started last night, he said, "You're from Litter Media, right?" And I said, "Yeah." He said, "Are you guys broadcasting this tonight?" And I said, "Well, not live, but we'll have all of the results." Also, while the judges were weighing out who would be the king and queen, that's where they always do the friend of 4-H. And this is Amy Smythe. She is the winner of the friend of 4-H. And a touching note last night, the friend of the junior fair, that went to the late Judy Gary, longtime Clarksburg area 4-H advisor. This is her husband, Steve Gary,
who I believe is a previous winner as well.
Yeah, and Steve's not been in the best of health himself recently, but he accepted the award on behalf of his late wife, Judy.
Yeah, Steve's a great guy.
Yes, he is.
And how about this? What's it like to have a division in the National Hockey League named after you, the Smythe Division?
Yeah, so congratulations. And all of that information in detail with photos is available at littermedia.com. Here's the schedule for today.
Yeah, so your band of the day is the Zane Trace Marching Band. Performances at 1, 2:30, and 4:30. The rides will open at 12. It's free today for ages 17 and under, thanks to Adena Health System. Junior Fair poultry shows will take place today in the Small Animals Arena starting at 4 o'clock. The Junior Fair goat shows at 4 p.m. and the show arena. And the grandstand, they've got micro wrestling tonight at 7 p.m. So, micro wrestling, these are small people will be doing professional wrestling. Yeah. From what I am told, and Bobby Fulton has shared this with me, he says, it is fantastic. He says the things that you'll see them doing, you see on TV. So get out there to the fairgrounds and watch it tonight.
You know, I'm almost sure, I've not gone up to bother him yet, but I think I've seen Bobby in the gym here recently, and I've been wanting to get up to him and say, are you getting in shape to go back at it again, or what?
Well, he's involved now with NWA, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
So he's been on the show and doing some stuff here of late, helping to bring up some kids, and one of those is his youngest son is now wrestling. So.
Gotcha. All righty. So that's what's going on at the Ross County Fairs. We've been telling you also the Scioto County Fair. That's going on this week. And their big event, Fast Tracks Motocross. I wonder if that's the same group that was at Pike County last week.
Yeah, I believe it is. Yeah.
So they just had to go one county down to do their show.
And they've been at the Ross County Fair before, too. I don't think they're there this year, though. So
Gotcha.
I don't remember seeing them on the schedule this year.
All right. So if you like county fairs, you got two right here in driving range. That's a golf term, isn't it? Fayette County Public Health presents a free community pool day called the Back to Class Splash Bash. Say that 4 times real fast. This will be at the Jeffersonville Pool this week. That's August the 10th. Now, admission to the pool will be completely free for all attendees. The event to be held again at Jeffersonville Pool at 42 Colonial Drive in Jeffersonville starting at noon, and the Fayette Department of Health will have staff there until 4:30 that afternoon. That's coming up again August 10th. Each year, the Pike Heritage Museum publishes a calendar to raise funds for their operations. But after more than 30 years of publishing period photographs, the museum is trying something different. Pike Heritage Museum President Bruce Overley says, quote, "We want to solicit photographs from our talented homegrown photographers. If interested, we ask that you submit 3 to 4 digital photographs that would be published in a commemorative calendar to benefit the museum," unquote. You can read more about that and find out how you can participate in our story at LeonardMedia.com. Good things take time, and there's no exception for this dam repair project at Lake Hope State Park.
Careful how you say that.
Yes, really. The completion date will be sometime this fall. Now, this photo comes to us from Lake Hope State Park. Concrete work continues up the right side of the spillway section by section. That's big. Of course, there's no water there to be held back, so this is part of a dam, whether it's a pond, a lake, or whatever, that most of us never see. But that's how big that thing is at Lake Hope that they're putting in.
Yeah, because it'll be covered mostly by water.
Yes.
Before too long.
But again, they hope to have that done sometime this fall. Come enjoy a magical evening of locally sourced cuisine, local chefs, cocktails, and live music on the bricks of 4th Street in Chillicothe during the Mighty Children's Museum Farm to 4th dinner. Following dinner, there will be a local art silent auction and cash auction to conclude the evening. Now, this is in September. Each ticket includes live music, and we have a guest that's going to be with us here in the next week or so to talk about that upcoming September 16th event to benefit the Mighty Children's Museum. But in the meantime, you can purchase tickets on Eventbrite and simply look for Mighty Children's Museum.
And what they mean by 4th is 4th Street here in Chillicothe.
Up to $7,000 per person is available to Ohioans with disabilities from college, training, and credentialing programs for the 2023 fall term. The OOD Education Support Funds help students with disabilities in their pursuit of continued education. OOD will provide all eligible college and non-traditional students with disabilities payments of up to $7,000 while participating in OOD services to be used for tuition or educational expenses during the upcoming fall term.
This looks like something I might have typed in by mistake at Ohiood.
Yeah, that's
OHIOOOD.
Yeah, catchy, right? But you can get more information also about that on our website. Road report today over in Hocking County, a bridge replacement project taking place on State Route 180 between Hartsaw Road, that's Township Road 156, and Stump Road, which is also Township Road 148. One lane is closed. Traffic is being maintained with temporary signals. So a lot of people coming out of Ross County heading to Hocking on 180, that will affect you in your travel. That project, they hope to have it done by the end of, no, August 15th is in the next week, isn't it?
It's midweek next
Yeah,
week.
so about
it's
Wednesday of next week is when they hope to have that done.
I think it's actually the Tuesday, is the 15th.
Okay. I thought, wait a minute. For some reason, I'm a week ahead of myself. And then I keep thinking, well, football season's the 18th, so 15th's got to be next week.
This is where whenever you schedule things ahead, you find yourself. I was announcing this at church here back, in June, I think it was. Mm-hmm. And in the back of my mind was we have to make sure we have our revival services, which is starting on this day. And I said something like, and don't forget, Homecoming Revival starts this weekend. And no, it's the weekend after.
Yeah, really.
Because you're planning in your head, and that's why you put things down in front of you,
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My
phone is also my calendar, yeah.
Yes. Phones are everything now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a little computer in your hand.
Just exactly like that.
Happened to see one of my Sunday schools, two of my Sunday school students, they weren't in attendance yesterday. Mm-hmm. Of course, wrapping up for the Pike County Fair, most of my kids were involved with the fair, so it was slim pickings yesterday. But two of them were on a trip with their dad. Changed his cover photo, and they're there with a big jet copter.
Wow.
So I hope they got a ride, because it's really cool to have a picture. But if you actually climbed in it and took a ride, mm-hmm. They're down in Tennessee, I guess. So,
gotcha.
Hope you guys enjoy the week and have some stories to tell when you get back next weekend. All right, coming up, a look at what's going on with sports, and we've got good news about our Chillicothe Paints and more just ahead. But first, I want to tell you about Accurate Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, your trusted comfort advisor. Got an issue with your heater or your cooler or your plumbing? They can help. Click on this ad anywhere you see it on our website, littermedia.com. It will take you right to their website where you can learn about where they serve and how they can serve you. It's awesome. They've got a wide territory that they handle. And you, if you're watching right now, unless you're in Taiwan or someplace, you're probably within their service territory. So get more details by clicking on this ad anywhere you see it at littermedia.com. Sports next.
Find a career you love with Pickaway Ross Adult Education. Skilled trades careers are in high demand with no signs of slowing down. Pickaway Ross offers career training programs with expert instructors and hands-on learning tactics to create a variety of opportunities. Visit our website for more information.
At Rathkamp Financial, we provide wealth management services that may ease clients' fears of financial loss and help them retire comfortably. Our greatest satisfaction comes from working with clients for many years and helping them realize their dreams.
Whenever I first applied for the ArchWiz opportunity, do I have to pay this back? Do I have to do that? Is it a loan? And it's not. It's a scholarship. A goal of mine is to graduate college debt-free. If you're a crew member, you get $2,500 a year, and if you're a manager, you get $3,000. And especially if you're going locally to college, to the branch or something like that, it's really helpful.
Time for sports. We have been saying all year long, #roll paints. And fortunately for them, they got a run late. They gave them that insurance run that they would need to win yesterday.
Yeah, busy weekend in sports. And last night, as Dan said, the Paints beat the Kings 7-6 to advance to the Eastern Conference Championship tomorrow night at VA Memorial Stadium. Now, we learned that their opponent is still to be decided because that game involving Danville and Springfield was rained out last night. So they're going to play that this afternoon at, that's 3 p.m. Central Time.
Yeah, they're picking it up. Tied at 4-4 and talking about the top of the 11th inning.
So if they can get the game in, because storms are in not only Ohio, but in parts of the Midwest as well. If they can get that game in today, then the winner comes to Chillicothe for the Eastern Conference Championship, and that's a single-game championship tomorrow night but you can go ahead and get your tickets.
You can get your tickets now on ChillicothePaints.com, and I believe the first pitch tomorrow night, 7:05.
Go Paints. Yeah, I was listening to this game on the way to the fairgrounds last night, and they had just, Figueroa had just hit the home run to put them ahead. Yeah. But at that time, it was
5-4, or is it 6-5?
6-5, I think.
Yeah.
But it sounded like they needed that extra run.
And the Kings got a solo shot there in the 9th inning, and I thought, here we go. But then they clamped him down.
Yes, sir.
Paulie picks up the save.
Keep going, Paints. Wish we could say the same for the Reds. Stop
What is going on?
Oh, golly. They are just really having a tough time.
But still only a game and a half out.
Yeah, fortunately, the Brewers are playing as bad, but the Cubs are the ones that have caught fire. But right now, the Reds, after being swept by the Nationals, this is the third time this season that Cincinnati has lost 6 straight games. They hope to get off the snide tonight at home against the Marlins of Miami. Guardians lose to the White Sox. That's the last time those two teams will play in this regular season anyway. 5-3, the White Sox, so they pretty much own the Guardians this season. High school sports, you could tell it was getting underway this weekend. 3 different golf tournaments to tell you about. This one here was the Unioto Military Invitational at the Forrest E. Everhart Memorial Golf Course at the Chillicothe, VA. The Chillicothe Cavaliers opened the 2023 season winning the championship in that 11-team field. Now, the Cavs won with a team score of 304 over 18 holes. Unioto was second at 311. But the meet medalist or match medalist, that was Charlie Lewis of Unioto with a 70. Chillicothe's Caden Cook was second at 72.
Thanks to our buddy Steve Lewis, who's on a boat somewhere always. His grandson is Charlie Lewis.
Yes, sirree.
Thank you for that photo.
Now, the Spartans of Alexander took the team title by 1 stroke over Fairfield Union at the Vinton County Invitational. That was held on Friday. Circleville was in that, Logan Elm, Logan, Jackson, Zane Trace, Wellston, and Vinton County, as well as Meigs. Find all of the score rundown on our website. In girls golf, Sheridan and Circleville were the top 2 teams out of 10 in the Lady Falcons golf invite. The Lady Generals were first with a team score of 356, followed up by runner-up Circleville at 359. Addie Burris of John Glenn was the medalist at 68, but Circleville's Elena Seeley shot a 69, which is a 18-hole girls golf record for Circleville High School. So congratulations to Elena on that. Tays Valley, Vinton County, and Zane Trace also had top 7 finishes. Bloom Carroll, by the way, was in 8th place. Just didn't know about this till last night. It was on social media. Huntington graduate Dalton Black, as we've understood, is now battling Hodgkin's lymphoma. A GoFundMe account has been set up for him for expenses that are often not covered by health insurance, and that can be travel to treatments and things of that nature. And if you go to GoFundMe, Sherry Carroll is the one that organized that.
And if you're wondering which fella is, well, he's number 70 in these videos that we have seen over the years with Huntington. You talk about a kid that stands out. He's one of them that would stand out, whether it be football or basketball, baseball as well. There he is in the background. And this is so funny because we met with the whole offensive line as our players of the game for that particular game. And I asked him, I said, so what worked well for you tonight? And he's the one that says, here it comes. He says, everything. There it is, because they did everything they tried worked that night. But Dalton, last time I saw him was when they were setting up for the Buck 50, and he was very much involved with that part of the MAID program and everything too, and basketball, baseball, and going to Capital University as well. So, speaking of football, this is the inside of the locker room now at Chillicothe High School. A nice thing put together here. These are guys who all played Division I football in this nice matchup. Brett Reitzel was one talking with the crowd that was there at the Chillicothe Country Club. I was fortunate to be MC for this, but we also had a special guest. There he is, Woody Hayes, back to life, giving an inspirational speech to the guys. But the one that I really think it stood out, by the way, we're going to see, that's the back of Jim Savage right there, his varsity jacket. He was still wearing the varsity jacket, so that's good. But we had a chance to hear from Ryan Brenning. And you see Ryan there in the white shirt off to your right. He is the quarterback of the first state football playoff team for Chillicothe. And I had forgotten this. I remembered Chillicothe scrimmaging against Worthington, but I forgot that it was the playoff season. And Chillicothe owned them in the scrimmage. Came time to meet them in the playoffs, and it was a different situation. They were prepared for Chillicothe to come back. As Ryan was explaining, he says, we were totally prepared. We thought. We had audibles and all this kind of stuff, and he says, I get up and I get in line, and I'm ready to get the snap from the center, and I audible. And he says, darn, they moved too.
They had their own,
He says, I took a look over the coaches, and they're like, yeah, run the play. See what happens. And they just never could make the adjustment. It was 42-0 was the final of that game.
Wow.
But Chillicothe learned from that, went back to the playoffs the next year. In fact, went 10-0 the next year. And it's really good to get a chance to catch up with all the guys and see some of those faces. As Coach Ron Hinton always called them, the ghosts of the past.
Yeah.
And guys who paved the way.
Cavs open up the regular season on Friday the 18th at home against St. Charles, but do they have any home scrimmages people could come out and watch before that?
Well, they finished up with Portsmouth West Saturday morning. They've got another one, I guess if you want to say finish up, coming up this Friday. And so that will be at home as well. Now, I will tell you, we've got some information we want to share with people. We're going to do that at the end of the show today. So I think it's going to be, I think it's big news. Hopefully it's big news for you folks. So because you're involved, we'll tell you more coming up in just a moment. But first, where are we going with the Litter Media Wayback Machine today?
1782.
1782 in this date in history. Coming up right after these words from our sponsors.
The Roco Music Fest is coming to the Ross County Fairgrounds in Chillicothe Labor Day weekend, September 1st through 3rd. Friday night features Jana Kramer.
Why you wanna show up in a old t-shirt that had a
Plus Little Texas and Jimmy Mowry. Saturday's headliner Dustin Lynch. Featuring Randy Hauser and Nolan Taylor.
Let me show you how country feels.
Sunday's headliner Parker McCollum.
Finally got a handle on you.
Featuring Ray Lynn and Sweet Tea Trio. Single-day passes are $100. 3-day weekend passes are $175. Camping is also available for the weekend at the Ross County Fairgrounds. Tickets and camping passes are available at rosscountyfair.com. Plan to spend your Labor Day weekend in Ross County at the Roco Music Festival at the Ross County Fairgrounds in Chillicothe. Visit rosscountyfair.com.
Yeah, you had to come walking in here and sit down.
Budweiser beer, the king is second to
Who drinks Budweiser? You know the type. The people who grind. Those who don't back down. And the ones who don't quit. They say all people are 6 degrees of separation away from each other. But some are just a 6-pack away. The people who share the same spirit, share the same beer. This Bud's for you.
this date in history, 1792 or 82?
82.
82.
1 year after the Revolutionary War ends, and we always do have a Revolutionary War moment on Tuesday, so that's something
That'll be
different tomorrow.
Yeah.
In Newburgh, New York, General George Washington, the Commander-in-Chief of the Continental Army, creates the Badge for Military Merit, a decoration consisting of a purple, heart-shaped piece of silk, edged with a narrow binding of silver with the word merit stitched across the face in silver. The badge was to be presented to soldiers for any singularly meritorious action and permitting its wearer to pass guards and sentinels without challenge. Washington's Purple Heart was awarded to only 3 known soldiers during the Revolution. Now here's the catch. The decoration was largely forgotten after that until the year 1927, when General Charles Summerall, the U.S. Army Chief of Staff, sent an unsuccessful draft bill to Congress to revive the Badge of Military Merit. But in 1931, Summerall's successor, some guy by the name of General Douglas MacArthur, took up the cause, hoping to reinstate the medal in time for the bicentennial of George Washington's birth. So it was then on February 22nd of 1932, Washington's 200th birthday, that the U.S. War Department announced the creation of what we now know as the Order of the Purple Heart. But it all began with the original quote-unquote Purple Heart, even though it wasn't called that, on this date in 1782.
And that information coming to you from one of the more recent Purple Heart cities, Chillicothe.
That is correct.
So
that is correct.
We tie that together. And thank you to Melody Lepsinski for all of her efforts in getting the Purple Heart City designation for Chillicothe. We're hoping it's not the only designation that we'll have. Next month, we'll be waiting and keeping an eye on Saudi Arabia, where they'll be making the World Heritage vote to see if the Chillicothe area is going to be on the map in that respect.
Correct.
Which would be awesome as well. A lot of people still don't understand what that's all about. And there is a place in Illinois, the name escapes me right now, but they have a mound similar to kind of like what we have, only it's a larger mound that dates back to prehistoric times with previous civilizations. We are part of this earthworks for the Hopewell Earthworks, and those folks, from the way I've been told, they received about 60,000 visitors a year. After World Heritage designation, that jumped up to like 260,000 per year.
That's a bunch.
That is a bunch of people coming just to that spot in Illinois. So if we have that happen here, that's why you're seeing a lot of the signage go up, why you're seeing more and more about why it is people are coming to Chillicothe. You'll see, I would imagine, a number of people that don't know how to speak English coming here, let alone speak Appalachian Ohioan.
Yeah, which is kind of like not being able to speak English. Yeah.
Right. So that'd be really cool to see that happen. But that's supposed to happen sometime in September. I think between September 11th and the 30th, one of those dates. I don't know if they just take their time to do this voting or whatever the case may be, but I think when we get to September, probably after Labor Day, we'll hear more of a true date for when that happens.
Right.
Now, that's not the information we wanted to share with you today. What we wanted to tell you about is a new venture that we are putting together. And for some of you who only listened to Dan and Mike without seeing our faces, unless you were right in front of us or maybe sitting across from us in the studio, we are launching Litter Media Radio. And it's already up and running now. However, it's in the test phase. So it doesn't sound exactly like what we want it to sound like at this moment in time. But it gives you an opportunity to hear something 24/7 that will be nothing but local stuff.
Right.
The interviews that we do on these programs are special editions. Not only that, but we plan to integrate local newscast, maybe some weather, maybe a local sportscast at times. So we'll have that plus the special shows that we do. One of those includes play-by-play sports. And so Friday, August 18th, will be our first game, Chillicothe hosting St. Charles. We're told that's Hall of Fame night. I have to be there for that, so that made it the easy selection as who we're going to start with. But we want to announce today, not only will Mike Smith be the lead anchor for our play-by-play, but the color analyst, we signed documentation last week, Tom Beard.
After long, arduous negotiations with his agent.
Yes, we got that taken care of. Leslie says it's okay.
So the Litter Media Game of the Week feature that Dan produces, that's still going.
Yes.
And it's just that the play-by-play will be the game that you will be featuring on video highlight.
Precisely. Now, we may have one game later this year that may change up because I've got to be at the Huntington Senior Night because that's where Paradise is going to be making that walk across the field. How do I miss my granddaughter, right?
Yeah, don't do like I did with my daughter on senior night. I was out doing a ball game somewhere else.
So now this is up to Coach Beeler and the Huntsmen to have them in the hunt for the SVC championship towards the end of the season, because I think their last home game is either week 8 or week 9. So we'll see how that plays out. But yes, we'll still have a Litter Media Game of the Week video package we'll put together, along with the Litter Media Extras, which is the halftime shows, stuff the cheerleaders do, post-game interviews with the players and the coaches. We'll have all that like we have in the past. However, we will have the game carried by Litter Media Radio.
Right.
So where are you going to find Litter Media Radio? Well, there's not a broadcasting stick for it, but it will be there'll be a player on our website, littermedia.com, that you'll be able to click on. And there's also an app available. So we'll share all that information for you once we get all the little things we're trying to iron out right now.
Right.
Because it's brand new for me, and I'm trying to learn some of this stuff along the way. But got to say thanks to the guys like Travis Young at Round Town Radio, they helping us with this idea to get it up and running. Now, we'll be doing the games live. However, there's like a 60-second delay on this. So if you're
which is streaming everywhere, has that issue.
Right. So if you're thinking to yourself, oh, we can sit out of the football field and listen to Mike and Tom do the play-by-play, it won't be as the play is going, but you'll still be able to hear things. And that includes the halftime show, the post-game interviews, that kind of stuff. You'll be able to hear that live. So,
now, is that the only announcement we're making? Programming-wise, we have a change. Instead of a post-game Friday show, we're doing the play-by-play, but we're also going to do something different on Thursday.
We will have the Litter Media Game of the Week pregame show. So the reason you're asking yourself, what are you doing that for? Because sometimes you and I didn't get on the air until 1 o'clock in the morning after a football Friday night. It just became, when it's just two guys putting it together, and we don't have a big giant staff to produce all this stuff. I mean, it was a quality show, I thought, and everything for the post game, but we thought we might be better to do this on a Thursday. So we're going to have a Thursday pregame show, which will follow this program. So we'll have our daily show on Thursday, and then about 12 o'clock, we'll jump right back into it, have our pregame show, and that gives you an opportunity to see it. We'll have a player of the week, we'll have the coach preview shows with their interviews, and, as the season gets underway, we'll have more things so we'll be able to add, but, starting off, it's going to be kind of bare bones in that respect. But and coming up this week or next week, you'll be able to find this on our website, a Litter Media Player of the Week. Now, we'll merely have name designation for the Player of the Week, and it doesn't have to be football.
No.
It can be any sport. It can be golf, it can be tennis, it can be fishing.
Of the season that we're in.
Well, if you want to say high school kids, but if you've got someone involved with shooting sports, we'll do that. If you've got someone that's doing outdoor stuff, it's sports to us. And so we're not really delegating it as this has got to be football only. No. That's not the case. So it's open to everybody. So if you're, a senior bowler or somebody like that, you are capable of being one of our players of the week. So we'll have the nomination process and tell you how to do all of that in the coming days, hopefully as early as later this week. But all this to say this, we will have a Litter Media Player of the Year. Now, a lot of times we see these types of things that are out there that, recognizing a kid during the school year. Well, we've decided to do this year-round. We wanted to launch it back in January, just couldn't get things together. It's launching next week, and so we will have a Player of the Year, which will be kind of like a half year, but that's all right. That's no problem. So keep those things in mind because we're doing what we can to tell the good stuff about things going on in our communities.
We're growing.
We are.
Hopefully you'll want to grow with us.
Indeed. Quick radio moment. I was thinking about this earlier today. This takes me back to the OU Chillicothe basketball days in the 1980s when I was covering them on a regular basis, traveling with the team and everything. There was a player that was injured for OSU Lima. He was hurt right at mid-floor at Shoemaker Center. And so he's lying there writhing in pain. The gymnasium went quiet. Yeah. Quiet as could be. OUC Hilltoppers were standing over by the bench. Joe Park was out there, the coach of the time, helping and assisting. The trainers were there and the whole deal. As that's going on, while everybody's quiet, we hear a crash and then bouncing balls everywhere. 2-year-old Dan Jr.
Thank you.
Went over to grab a basketball off of the rack and pulls the rack over. Basketballs are bouncing everywhere. The players are doing what they can to grab. Everybody's laughing. The kid who's laying there writhing in pain, he's laughing.
And Dan's hiding under the bleachers. Yeah. I don't know who that kid is.
I couldn't climb under there fast enough. He somehow got away from Missy, and next thing you know, he's drawing attention to himself. Oh. Who would have thought that 28 years later, he would break his leg in the same gymnasium playing basketball, and that was another moment where there was a lot of screaming going on. But at any rate, I had that as my radio moment. I was thinking about just this morning. I thought, we need something. We need something quick. I'll use that.
Okay.
So thank you, son. All right, tomorrow we're back at it again with another edition here on Litter Media Live. And until then, enjoy the first Monday of the fair.
Yes.
Which is going on, whether it be Ross County or Scioto County, wherever you're going. We'll look for you. And if you see us with our cameras out, wave at us, get our attention. For Mike Smith, I'm Dan Ramey. Until tomorrow, enjoy the rest of your Monday.